Now, your local Weather Authority forecast.
Very thin cloud coverage across the basin on your Friday morning, just before 6:45 on your Friday morning. And a live look at the tall city. We saw that night vision on, but we do notice these city lights highlighting very thin cloud coverage just above the Bank of America Tower, not producing any rainfall because of a lot of dry conditions still in the atmosphere. Current temperatures sitting right around 65 degrees, so those dry conditions and those fairly light winds, which are switching a little bit more from the south and east, are starting to warm things up just a little bit in the atmosphere. But again, temperatures still slightly below normal this morning. Very thin cloud coverage behind me. But the bigger story is, this tropical storm K, with a plume of moisture heading towards the south and west. Peaks of yellows, oranges, and reds indicating heavier rainfall approaching Arizona, California, and those clouds extending from the system all the way into the western half of the basin, even close to the Midland and Odessa area in terms of the thicker cloud coverage. But again, here in the tall city this morning, very thin cloud coverage, very dry. We haven't seen much in the way of any rainfall the past few days, but last week, we did see beneficial rainfall, as the latest update within the drought monitor does show drought improvements in the Trans-Pecos. The circle indicates that moderate drought now in Midland and Odessa, so that was better than the severe to extreme drought that we did see last update. But those reds and darker reds in the northern tier of the basin still indicate extreme to exceptional drought just east of Hobbs, and places like also Andrews, Seminole, Lamesa. We generally still need the rainfall. On the past day, the past few days, we haven't really been seeing it. We've been seeing very high altitude thin cloud coverage because of Tropical Storm K, with winds now sustained at 60 miles per hour. It's a weakening storm. It'll bring in some moisture to the south and west, but as it kind of meanders offshore, we're going to be seeing those clouds start to thin out at times later today and into the overnight. But for the first half of today, we could be seeing slightly thicker cloud coverage highlighted by this futurecast. But again, generally, those clouds will be very high in the atmosphere and mostly on the thinner side in terms of the coverage. Temperatures will not be hindered, warming up into the mid to upper 80s, low to mid 90s, slightly warmer than yesterday. High temperature 93 degrees today in the tall city, low temperature 64 degrees, so dropping another degree or two before warming up later this morning and into the afternoon. Not too humid, not too dry, so pretty comfortable in terms of the relative humidity values for this time of year. It is a little bit on the cooler side in some locations, in the 50s, generally in the 60s, some pockets of lower 70s near the Rio Grande, warming up in the mid to upper 80s and lower 90s, as I mentioned, so slightly above normal for this time of year. So late summer-like heat across the basin, and still pretty warm later this evening. Friday night football back in the basin at Astound Broadband Stadium. Kickoff temperature 90 degrees, but very thin cloud coverage. Pretty warm and dry out there as the Abilene Eagles take on the Midland Legacy Rebels. Temperatures dropping into the mid-80s by halftime. And for the weekend, we're going to be seeing even more clouds and still pretty warm conditions to start, especially on Saturday at 92 degrees, but dropping to 80 degrees in terms of the high temperature on Sunday. A cold front will be approaching, bringing in stronger winds, more humidity, more clouds, and higher chances of rainfall. So that's something that I really got to watch out for, folks. A big weather pattern change will be in store as we head later in the weekend, but it will be a very quick hitting weather pattern. Temperatures slightly above normal today and tomorrow, well below normal on Sunday with a slight chance of rain showers, but slightly warmer and drier conditions return for the first half of next week.